Hello, my name is Linda Gribbin, and for my leadership topic, I chose magnet hospitals. I went into this topic not knowing anything about magnet status, other than it was just that, a status that hospitals had to work towards, meet certain criteria, and then they were awarded with this name. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know that it could be potentially helpful for our workforce. So I read an article by Miss Margaret McClure called Magnet Hospitals, Insights and Issues. In the nursing profession, we have been looking for ways to defeat the high turnover rates associated with our high demand and highly stressful profession for many years. The development of magnet hospitals originated to cause competition amongst the nursing profession during a time of a nursing shortage. McClure states that in the 1980s, a task force was appointed to help identify the numerous workforce issues associated with the nursing profession. The task force, appointed by the American Academy of Nursing, further went to identify variables that went into making successful settings to work in. The magnet hospital phenomenon was thus created out of research on successful settings over the past 2 decades. The goal is to create a positive work environment by having best practices in place from the research that makes the clinical environment a great place to practice. Also, in theory, it causes a sense of pride when working for an organization that has met the credentialing criteria for magnet hospital status. The question posed for today's magnet program is the Magnet Award a recognition of excellence that's already in place, or does it instead represent a criteria for hospitals to strive towards and ultimately achieve? The answer is probably a little bit of both, but seeing as how the criteria always changes, they'll always be striving towards it. Simply put, organizations that pursue the application for recognition undoubtedly begin with fine characteristics in place. They then examine the ANCC criteria to determine the improvements that they need to qualify for the award. Research has shown that staff have displayed a sense of pride and loyalty to their facilities, thus helping with retainment for employees. And it shows stability more than before magnet hospitals were in place. McClure continues to identify issues associated with hospitals becoming credentialed as magnet hospitals, one in particular being that it's a process that's never ending. As I said, the criteria is constantly changing, research is constantly changing. So hospitals have to come to the conclusion on whether it's worth it or not, or whether they should just put best practices in place found by the research gathered to make their organizations a more appealing option without the status. In conclusion, the author states that magnet hospitals is still a very new notion that can reap many benefits through the research alone, helping create a great clinical environment to work for nurses. In my opinion, any attempt to create a more positive, successful setting to work in will do nothing but be a benefit to the medical profession overall. It is vitally important that we take pride in our work and our organizations that employ us to help decrease turnover rates, increase morale, and increase loyalty. But it is also important that we have great, safe clinical settings. In the future, I do not know how many hospitals will work towards magnet status as a whole, but I feel that the research being done ultimately benefits the profession of nursing and the better outcome for patients. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day.